If you want to declutter your house, but you don't want to make more of a problem in the landfills, then this video is for you. Hey friends, welcome back to my channel where I help you declutter in a realistic and non-judgy way, plus live more intentionally in all areas of life. I'm Shannon, host of the Paring Down podcast, and if that sounds good to you, I'd be so grateful for you to hit subscribe. Today, we're going to talk about something that stops a lot of people from decluttering, that sinking feeling that you're just adding to the world's waste problem. You might look at your stuff and think, I don't want this to just end up in a landfill. And that's a really valid concern. I feel it too. But here's the truth. If an item isn't naturally biodegradable, it's already here, whether it's sitting in your closet, tucked away in a drawer, or buried in a landfill. Your home isn't heaven. It's not the place where things are saved from earth forever. It's just a temporary stop. Eventually, everything we own will leave our homes. It might be next month, or it might be in 50 years from now when someone else has to deal with it. But either way, it's going somewhere. So the question becomes, what's the most responsible thing I can do with it while it's still in my care? If you hold on to everything, your home becomes the landfill, because that's exactly where everything will go when you die. Sorry if that's morbid, but it's just the truth. But if you release things thoughtfully, they can have secondhand life, which slows down the market for new materials. And that's key, because the real environmental harm doesn't happen when we throw things away. It happens when new things are created. So we want to be part of the secondhand solution that lessens the market for new things to be created in the first place. And the other piece of this is that if something is eventually going to end up in the ground because no one else wants to use it secondhand, you might as well enjoy a decluttered, peaceful home while you're alive rather than waiting for it to happen when you're gone. And that is what today's video is about: how to declutter responsibly without guilt and in a way that actually aligns with your care for the planet. So let's start with why this feels so heavy. We live in a world that really pushes us to consume. We're constantly told to upgrade, replace, and collect. And when we have too much stuff, then we're told to live simply and be more sustainable and waste less. So it's no wonder that we feel trapped. When you start decluttering, you come face to face with every single purchase, every trend you chased, everything that you thought would make your life easier. And instead of feeling free, you feel guilty. But that guilt doesn't mean that you're careless. It means that you do care. You're trying to do the right thing. You just haven't been shown how to balance environmental responsibility with your need for peace at home. So let's find that balance. Before you start decluttering a single drawer, pause and set an intention. Ask yourself, why do I even want to declutter? If it's because I want a calmer home and I want to declutter in a way that is kind to the planet, then that sentence sets your direction. It reminds you that you're not just decluttering to create more waste. You're decluttering to stop living among it. And if you move slowly and intentionally as you assess your belongings, you will make better decisions. So you do not have to do this perfectly either. You won't find the perfect sustainable way to dispose of every last thing you own. You just have to be aware of why you're making this choice and accept that the biggest impact you can have moving forward for the planet is changing your consumption. Responsible decluttering just starts with doing your best, not being perfect, because that's simply not an option if this stuff already exists. The next step is to separate the what from the where. When people try to declutter and donate at the same time, that's when they get stuck. It's just too many decisions all at once. So separate them. First, go through your things and sort into 3 simple categories. Keep, the things that you use, that you love, that you truly need. Your unsure things you're not ready to decide on quite yet. That can be a slippery slope, but that exists. And then of course, your let go, anything that doesn't serve a purpose in your life. And that's it. You're not tossing anything yet. You're just choosing what still deserves to live in your space. This approach removes guilt from the process. You're not throwing away. You're making decisions, right? And once everything is sorted, then you can figure out where each item should go next. This is where the environmental piece comes in. There are so many ways to give items second life. And every time you do, you're slowing down the demand for new manufacturing. So here are some ideas for clothing. Check if your city or your local thrift stores work with textile recyclers. Many do, even for damaged clothing. So Google textile recycling near me. You can also mail in your stuff to Trashy or Retold Recycling. For good quality pieces, find donation centers that serve specific needs, like women's shelters, refugee programs, or job entry programs with nonprofits. You can also, of course, give your things away on Buy Nothing groups where they go directly to someone who will use them, or on Facebook Marketplace if you want to sell them. For electronics, look for drop-offs. So many stores accept these batteries, cords, whatever your electronics is, like a Best Buy or a Staples, and Best Buy even lets you mail your stuff into them, so that's excellent. As for bulky things like furniture, look up Habitat for Humanity, and different restores like that will often pick up building materials and furniture. Also, local free cycle groups are great. Someone might need exactly what you're letting go of, whether it's a desk or a chair or whatever it is. All right, if we're talking about toys and household goods, check with daycares, preschools, after-school programs, right? Gently used toys can be a huge blessing to other people. But remember, with all of these, the goal isn't perfection. The goal is to extend the life of what already exists if possible. But if something is broken, or if this whole process would take you 15 years to declutter your house if you found the perfect sustainable solution for every last thing that you're getting rid of, then it's best to simply throw things away or take them to a less ideal donation center. Why? Well, if you never actually get through this decluttering process, you'll never fully change your relationship with stuff. And remember, the best thing you can do for the environment is to change your consumption moving forward. You'll do way more good by living in a decluttered home for the next however many decades than by holding on to everything because you don't want to hurt the environment. But then you buy repeat purchases because you can't find anything, or you just give up altogether and keep living a consumer-driven lifestyle since that's what you're used to. So remember this. We often think that throwing things away is what's wasteful, but keeping things you don't use is also a form of waste. It's wasted space, wasted energy, it's wasted peace. And an item sitting unused in your home isn't helping anyone. But when it's released, even if that release isn't perfect, it's allowed to serve again. Letting go isn't the same as being careless. It's about being a good steward of your space and your energy. And you cannot be a good steward if your home is overflowing with the past. Almost everyone feels some level of regret when they declutter. It is okay to accept that this is a normal part of the process. You might think about the money that you spent or the good intentions you had when you bought something. But instead of letting that regret keep you stuck, let it become a teacher. Every item you release tells you something about what you truly value. Maybe you learned that fast fashion doesn't hold up, or maybe you learned that your kitchen does not need another gadget. Maybe you discovered that sentimental things don't have to take up space in order to hold meaning. That knowledge is powerful. It's what stops the waste cycle for good because it changes how you live moving forward. Here's another helpful angle I want to touch on really quickly. Sometimes the best way to keep things out of landfills is to use what you already have in a new way. So an old t-shirt can become a cleaning cloth. A candle jar can store cotton pads. A basket can be reused for organizing drawers. So repurposing works only when it adds value, not if you're just going to use clutter differently. If it doesn't have a purpose right now, it's still clutter and you can recycle it and let it go. Ultimately, the most powerful thing you can do for the planet and for your peace is to understand what is enough. Enough clothes, enough dishes, enough stuff. When you know what's enough, you naturally buy less. You create less demand. You send less to the landfill in the long run. Decluttering responsibly isn't just about where your stuff goes. It's about what doesn't come in anymore. I'll keep repeating myself here because it's really important, but this consumption piece is where the real change begins. So if you've been holding back from decluttering because you care about the planet, I want you to know that that care is powerful and important, and be sure that it doesn't hold you back from making real progress. Declutter with intention, rehome with purpose, learn from what you release, and give yourself permission to live lighter now, not later, because your home isn't meant to be a storage unit for guilt. It's meant to be a space for living. If this video was helpful for you, I'd love for you to like it and press subscribe. Bonus points for turning on notifications so you don't miss future videos about simplifying your home and living more intentionally. And be sure to check out the Paring Down podcast, which I'll have linked in the description of this video. Now, tell me in the comments, what's one thing you've been holding on to because you're afraid to waste it? All right, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.